Where are the jobs in this digital economy? We have them all over in Silicon Valley. I talked to Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce. Says like he has plenty of jobs. Apple has plenty of jobs. Microsoft has plenty of jobs. But are we ignorant in being from Silicon Valley to think that it's representative of what's happening across the nation?
You know, I'm always hesitant when folks extrapolate from the data of what they're seeing in their companies in Silicon Valley, because we're high growth companies. You look at the growth a company like Salesforce has achieved, and then you look at a company, I don't know, in any place in the Midwest relative to Salesforce, you can't make the same argument that they're increasing the number of jobs, et cetera.
And what's interesting is that even though we make up this small portion of what's happening in the US, we're having this huge impact in terms of technology has impacted the job market worldwide. And in fact, you're seeing some new market signals in relationship to hiring, correct?
Yeah, I think
because of technology.
Yeah, technology is absolutely disrupting how we are hiring. And I think with the LinkedIn IPO, I think we're seeing kind of the first version of this was actually just increasing market transparency around who employees are. So, years ago, I remember recruiters they were largely paid to call companies and figure out who worked in the company. That was the value they added, and they would then help you actually contact those people, and they would try and build org charts and et cetera. And LinkedIn sort of screwed companies by unlocking that value and empowering employees to say, here I am, I'm SAR, this is my resume, this is what I do, at this company, and created a whole bunch of opportunities for employees. I think the next wave that's really interesting is that we're seeing a lot of companies that are helping create new market signals beyond the companies that you work at or the institution that you studied at as a signal or a proxy for how talented you are. An example for you could be, I could go back and look at all the videos and interviews you've done and say, wow, Kim is fantastic. I'd love to work with her and get a feel for what that's like.
I'm easily Googleable.
That's right.
As most people are, right?
That's right.
That's one of the ways that people actually just go online and they say, hey, you know what? Who is this person? Facebook, who is this person?
That's right. And so in the recruiting market now, we're seeing a lot of innovative recruiters who are looking for new market signals. So an example, companies like Stack Overflow, Quora in Silicon Valley, and others are Q&A sites where engineers can basically answer a bunch of questions, and then based on that, they may not have gone to a Stanford, they may not have worked at a Google, yet there's new proxies for how talented they are. And we're seeing that actually in other communities now. So we're seeing design communities where people can showcase their work and potentially be recruited for jobs based on what they're doing. And we're seeing that increasingly in a whole bunch of other sectors, and I think that will be a new wave that really does empower consumers who may not have gone to a Stanford to get interesting opportunities in the workplace.
So what does that mean for the next generation of potential employees, and even a lot of the folks that are unemployed right now? I mean, what if they're shy? What if they don't normally engage online? Does that mean they're unemployable?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think over time what we're seeing is that some of these new companies that are focused on creating these market signals try and do it in a platform that's native to the user. So if I'm naturally a shy person, I may not feel comfortable tweeting publicly about a bunch of things. I may feel very comfortable answering a very specific techie question on Stack Overflow. And so over time, I think it's, the opportunity is for entrepreneurs to actually build systems and social software that creates the market signal, but also plays well to people's own personalities. So if they're shy, they still find a way to contribute and identify that they have real talent in those systems.
And the reason you're probably more familiar with this is just because a lot of the companies, you invest in a lot of smaller companies, and is that what they're doing now in order to find new employees?
Absolutely.
That's what they're doing.
So
not as much maybe the larger corporations, but probably smaller companies that are really trying to find those key talented individuals.
Yeah, we find that both small companies, even large companies, and even at the company formation stage, we're finding that people are using these online systems to find people that may be interested in the same thing that they are, whether that's a technical problem they're trying to solve in a big company or small company, or even just an area of passion for them where they'd like to start a company one day, and they happen to find that someone else has somewhere indicated that they're interested in a similar space. We were investors in Twitter, and we find actually it's surprising how many teams have formed just over, having public conversations on Twitter about areas that they find interesting, and I think that's an ongoing trend that we'll see.